Oh, hi. Hello, y'all. I want to talk about intuition and karmics. Um, it's just a subject, two subjects that's been on my mind lately. I want to talk about intuition because a lot of women say they have women's intuition, right? But they aren't using it correctly. So when a woman says, "Oh, it's my intuition," and all women have intuition now, at this point, a lot of men don't even believe y'all. Like they don't even care nothing about a woman's intuition because you're not using it correctly. So I want to talk about intuition because I'm very intuitive and what that looks like and how you're supposed to use that and utilize that as a tool, right, in your life. So when it comes to intuition, right? Excuse me. When it comes to intuition, there is a feeling, a sense, an energy shift. There is something that changes within your atmosphere, right? This can be within a relationship, within a situation, within an event, an environment, wherever, right? There is something that you feel, there is a good feeling that you feel there is a shift in, right? Okay, so once you notice that it's a shift in the energy in your environment, your relationship, in your partnership, in your setting, you are supposed to analyze the energy. Okay, that's how you use your intuition. All right, you're supposed to analyze the energy. So once you start analyzing the energy, you have to then compare the energy you was in before to the energy that you feel now. Okay, you have to compare those two. You have to see where it's different. Okay, you have to see where it feels different. You have to see where where the energy shifted at, what time the energy shifted at, around what event. Okay, did the energy shift? Okay, around what person, around what that's you have to actually study the shift of the energy. Okay, so once you start studying the shift of the energy, then you can try to sit back, wait, see if you can get a little bit more information, right? But a lot of times when you're dealing with your intuition, there's going to be times where you're not going to get any information. You're not going to get any information. You are supposed to just react and follow through on the energy shift that you feel, right? For example, let's just say women, right? Because we always hear, women on court shows or talk shows and, talking about they cheating boyfriends. They always tell me how they felt something, right? Or I had a feeling my woman's intuition kicked in, my intuition kicked in, my intuition kicked in, right? So when those women and their intuition kicks in and they find out that their intuition is right, okay, they don't follow through on a reason why that intuition is there. Okay? Once you find out something is happening, you are supposed to react and you're supposed to follow through with your intuition. You're not just supposed to stay there and tell these people, my intuition. They don't care about your intuition. How are you reacting on your intuition? Okay? What are you changing within your intuition? What steps are you going to utilize in your life so your intuition can guide you away from the situation or the energy shift that changed? That's how you utilize your intuition. Okay? Lots of women just miss that step. They miss the last step. Because we all, even if you're not a woman and you're sensitive to nature and you're in tune, you're intuitive too. Like you can't tell. Ain't nothing more intuitive than a hood nigga. Okay, ain't nothing more intuitive than a hood nigga. Okay, so you have the ability to use your intuition, but you're supposed to follow through with it, right? You have to follow through with your intuition. You have to follow through with the things that you're feeling, okay? Because you just saying my intuition told me, and you're staying, and another reason why your intuition is there for you to use it correctly is because Your intuition is warning you for something that could possibly be happening and happen bad to you, like in the future, right? It's trying to protect you before you get the information. Okay, it's trying to protect you before you get the information. It's trying to have you brace yourself, right? It's trying to have you brace yourself before you get the information on why the energy changed. That's the reason why your intuition pops up. And another reason why your intuition pops up, because sometimes you're not going to get the reason why the energy changed, because your intuition is protecting you then too. Your intuition will protect you because a lot of times things that's done behind your back, they will fucking devastate you. It's not for you to know. It's not for you to know. It's not for you to know why the energy changed. It's not for you to know why this person cheated on you, right? It's not for you to know and find out and dig and get clues. It's not for you to know, because if you know, it's a possibility that it can destroy your life. Like, it can destroy people. Die break all the time. Okay, that's real. It's the reason why that a lot of times you may feel the shift. You have to take yourself out of the situation and see, even if you're okay and comfortable with the energy shift. Because a lot of times, us as women or people who are intuitive, what people will do is they will feel something, right? You will feel it. Your intuition is working because you feel it, right? Your intuition is working because you feel it. But then, because you're not getting any concrete evidence, you will tend not to follow through with what you're feeling with your intuition. And that's not how that works. You have to separate yourself from the event. You have to separate yourself from the person. You have to separate yourself from the relationship. And you have to separate yourself from that environment when it comes to your intuition, so you can then try to calculate, okay, is the energy shift what I'm feeling because something changed within me? Okay? Or the energy shift is changing because of what's happening outside of me. That's another reason why you just can't react on your intuition, right? Because we all can feel it, but it could be your intuition have changed because your energy has changed. Your energy has changed. What you're feeling has changed. And even in that, you have to follow through in that change within your energy. Okay? So please understand, you just saying, oh, I'm intuitive and it's a woman intuition, baby. You only got to the half of the part. That's not, you gotta follow through with your intuition. Okay? One. Two. I want to talk about karmics, right? Like, I don't know if people realize today, like around us, it's a lot of people that we see either breaking up, or it's a lot of people that we see getting back together, or it's a lot of people that we see just changing like their whole life just out the blue, right? And to me, it's based on, your karmic cycle. We all experience a karmic cycle. It's a karmic cycle that you were either born in, okay, or it was a karmic cycle that you put yourself in, okay? So, granted, since everyone experiencing this karmic cycle, there are changes and shifts in environments and people doing things differently because, they're trying to navigate the karmic cycle. So, I want to talk about that because a lot of times people in karmic cycles, they don't know they're in a karmic cycle because it's a possibility they could have been born into the karmic cycle. So what does that mean? Like, if you are a person and you were born to a family, right? And your family could have possibly loved you, but the things that you went through in the family setting was kind of karmic, right? It was a lot of disagreements and misunderstandings, and it could have been a lot of abuse and a lot of things that didn't feed the highest sense of yourself, right? Within your family setting. So, once you go out here in this world and then you start making your own decisions, 9 times out of 10, you will make those decisions based on the environment that you were grown in, that you were literally raised in. that you were fertilized in. You will start making life choices and decisions based on the environment that you were born in. So once you start making life decisions and about the in the environment that you was born in, 9 times out of 10, if you don't understand it, you're in a karmic situation, you're gonna revert back to that karmic cycle. Like you're gonna be drawn to the people who will, the people who are karmically familiar to your life, right? You will revert back to that because even in that space, it feels safe because that is what you know, right? It is, it is, it's in the space of what you know. I'm talking about karmics, right? So it's in the space of what you know. You grew up in a karmic family. You grew up in a karmic setting. You get older, you become an adult. You have your own decisions. You will then start living your life karmically. Okay, and a lot of times, what happens in this karmic situation is the karmic situation is there for you to break that karmic cycle, for you to learn the lesson that you were born in, so you can begin to live the life that you were brought to live here under, right? But that doesn't happen 9 times out of 10. That does not happen. What happens is you literally start feeding and living and loving on this karmic frequency, and you believe that this is how life's supposed to be. But in this karmic frequency, you never can get to that highest sense of yourself, right? It's like it's never enough, right? It's never enough. You can't get to the highest sense of yourself. It's always an issue. It's always a problem. You're no matter what you do, you never do enough. Those are signs of being karmically tied to a situation, to an environment, to people, right? And once you stay tied to these situations, you believe one day they're going to get it, right? One day they're going to get it. One day they're going to see me for the person who I am. Like one day they're going to just give me what I need, what I'm requesting, because I'm not asking for too much. One day they're going to see the gift. If you're in the karmic cycle, that will never come, because that karmic cycle is not there for you to receive anything from them but a learned lesson. That's it. That is it. And that is all. That karmic relationship, that karmic cycle, that karmic family is only there for you to receive the lesson that you were born in. I mean, that you were born into. Okay? For you to receive the lesson of the relationships that you participate in. In order for you to receive that lesson. Okay? And once you receive that lesson, okay, because you can't get out that karmic cycle. Once you learn that lesson from your karmic cycle, you would then begin to live in the light, and you will begin to then live in a way that you were supposed to live when you was in the karmic cycle. Okay, now it becomes difficult when you get out of a karmic cycle, because 9 times out of 10 karmic cycles are very full of codependency. Very. It's a karmic cycle is full of codependencies. A karmic cycle is full of codependent shit. And what I mean by that, like, you always have to feel like you need something, you need somebody, you have to have them. If you don't have them, like, you're gonna pass away, or you can't live, and you can't do right by them, but you can't let them go. And those are codependent relationships. Okay. And once you're in a codependent relationship in your karmic cycle, and you tend to leave the karmic cycle, you are going to feel lost. You're going to be anxious. Nobody will talk about that, because they always talk about karmics and all this other stuff, but they don't talk about how you feel when you leave a karmic situation. You're going to feel anxious. You're going to feel anxious. You're going to feel lost. You're going to feel single. You're going to feel by yourself, because you are so used to this codependency of whatever environment that you was. Now, no matter if it hurt you, no matter if it made you cry, no matter if it didn't pour into you, no matter if it talked about you, no matter if it made you feel low, no matter if it didn't bring the light in you, no matter if they always try to drown out your light, drown out your love, you will in that situation for the codependency. Okay, so once you get out of karmic situations, you cannot no longer be codependent on what the karmic relationship was giving you. Okay, you have to be in an arena, you have to be in an area where you are solidified within yourself. So what does that mean? Once you leave the karmic relationships, you have to know how important you are, know how smart you are. You have to know how you maneuver in this world. You got to be aware of who you are personally. You have to be aware of the things that you want. You have to be aware of the places that you have to go. If you're not aware, after you end this karmic cycle, you're going to end right back in this karmic cycle because it is the most familiar thing to you. That's the only thing that you're experiencing, right? No matter if, because what people have to understand, us as people and human beings, we can adapt very well. We can adapt very well. Like, we can adapt so well that we will literally sacrifice our happiness, sacrifice our love, sacrifice the things that we want out of life, sacrifice our wants, sacrifice our desires, all for to adapt, to keep on going, to put yourself in a box, because if you're not in that box, they gonna feel some type of way. They gonna say something about you. They don't want you to sign too much. They don't want you to know too much. You have to understand what that is, okay? And once you leave that karmic cycle, you got to be very aware of who you are in a totality. And you have to be aware of who you're not, okay? Because the lesson to learn in the karmic cycle is to learn that you deserve more than what you're receiving from the karmic cycle. That is the lesson. That's the lesson to be learned. And another lesson to be learned in the karmic cycle is, in order for you to get to your wants and your needs and your desires and the things that's going to help you grow, right? The things that's going to help you grow, the things that's going to give you life within yourself, right? You have to understand those places that the karmic cycle placed you in is not the places that you can grow. You can't grow in those places. That's why it's always stagnant in the karmic relationship. That's why it's always stagnant in a karmic environment. That's why it's always stagnant in a karmic family, because there are lessons that need to be learned on top of and on top of the lessons there's trauma, and on top of the trauma there is karmic cycles, and it's like you pouring, like you can't plant a flower and then you watering it with soda. It ain't gonna grow. It's just shit just don't mix. It's not gonna grow. So once you understand that there are certain layers that you have to get out of, and certain things that you have to learn, and certain things that you have to experience in order for you to get out of those karmic cycles, in order for you to get to the place where you belong. Because like I said, us as human beings, we adapt. We start learning to adapt as children. We start learning to adapt to things that didn't coincide with our spirit, that didn't line up with our soul as kids. So if you learn how to do that as a child, and by the time you got old enough to make your own decisions, 9 times out of 10, you're making the decisions on the karmic things that you experience in your adaptation. Okay? You're not making decisions on the higher sense of yourself, right? So I wanted to come here and talk about that, because karmic cycle, I know everybody talk about karmics and your karmic and your karmic and your karmic. If you want to get deep on the deep, there are some times that your karmic cycle will follow you through each lifetime. They say like if you reincarnate into this world, you reincarnate into this atmosphere, you reincarnate into this, into onto this earth. There could be a karmic cycle that you have been experiencing every time you come here. And that's the reason why it's in your face every time you come here, because you have not learned that lesson. You haven't learned that lesson. You haven't learned that this is, and people have to understand when it comes to feelings, because yes, your feelings doesn't make it true. You have to learn how to utilize your feelings. Just because you feel something doesn't make it true. You have to put logic in that as well. And a lot of times we dismiss our feelings on how we feel in a situation because we think feeling this way is how we are supposed to be, right? But once you understand feelings and your emotions have a energy frequency to them, you will understand that in order for you to live the life of abundance, in order for you to live the life to your greatest sense of self, you cannot be in an energy frequency that is low. That's just like you having a low battery. When you charge your phone, you know, if you just say like, when it comes to energy and frequency in your feelings, right? If you're feeling sad, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling suppressed, right? If you're feeling boxed in, if you're not feeling appreciated, if you're not feeling, like you're being loved correctly, and those things will put you in a state of suppression, right? Those things will suppress your energy. Now, while your energy is near a negative tier, there is no way that you're going to be able to go out and get and live and enjoy the things that you need to enjoy in order for you to get the things that you want out of life. In order for you to live the life of love. And I'm not even talking about the material shit. I mean, just the life of love, like being in peace. Like for real, just peace, just love, just happiness, just having a sense of joy, right? That's just like if you keep on staying in a low frequency state because you're in these lower frequency energies. That's just like you got your phone is on 5%, but you trying to get on TikTok. Your phone ain't gonna stay on for too long because the frequency, cause the energy of TikTok and all the data and all the things that with the videos and the cameras and the processing is too much for your phone to stay on that long because your phone isn't juiced up to even process TikTok correctly. So yeah, you can get on TikTok, but I'm sure once you get on TikTok for with a battery that's 5%, you're not gonna be on TikTok that long. Or you want to take it to the other extreme, just say like you got a full battery. You got a full battery, but you want to watch a movie. You can watch a movie on that full battery. You can watch it all the way through. Or try to watch a movie on a battery that got 2%. And when you talk about emotions, when you talk about feelings, like literally, you have to think about it in that sense because that's literally what that is. If you're in the lower sense of yourself, you in a 2% battery range. You maybe got and some people can use it in their survival mode. They probably got 10%. You've been charging your phone all day and all you got is 10%. And even in that, you can be like, damn, I got to get another charger. Like this charger ain't working. My phone been on the damn charger all day. But I only got 10%. People don't do that when it comes to relationships. People don't do that when it comes to family settings. Like people don't do that when it comes to things that you have to change in order for you to get to your 100%. Because once you're in your 100%, you're going to be able to give more light and give more joy and give more love, right? It's not going to feel like it's coming from a sacrificial place. It's not going to feel like it's coming from, you just giving it all you got, but all you got is 10%. You need your battery charge. Your spirit needs to be fed. Like the love, the heart, your heart needs to be healed. The spirit inside of you needs to be fed to a point where you can have that charge, so you can go out and love more and do more if that's within you, right? Trying to do that in the 10%, battery. It's like you live in a survival mode. It's never you're never going to catch up. You're always going to be in a state of sacrifice. Okay, so thank y'all for watching. I'm about to take me a little walk, okay, because it's sunny out here. The wind is blowing. It feels really good. Okay, and y'all be good, and thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all later. All right, bye.